Oh man, it's been some time, but hey Slivers, today is almost like a holiday. A new episode of the Iceberg, but it is indeed a very small one. Are you prepared to go on this arduous journey?
You know me, I'm always ready.
Alright then, let's get it over with, but first I gotta do the thing.
The thing?
Oh yes. Welcome to the 6th entry of the Gothic Iceberg. Last time we ventured into the depths of the free mine, but today we are digging even deeper. This place supplied the king with ore for decades, and it shows. Let us tread on the catwalks and descend into the old mine. Come and join us, for it's the penultimate episode of the mighty Gothic Iceberg. By the way, do you want to start this time?
Sure, why not? Diego is a fire mage. So in chapter 4 of Gothic 1, all the fire mages are dead, and everyone belonging to the old camp becomes aggressive towards the player character. To avoid Diego attacking the nameless one, they changed his guild to fire mage, since they, not like the rest of the old camp, don't attack people on sight. You can check this out by entering Marvin mode, getting into his body, and pulling up the character screen. It doesn't have any lore implications, it's just a technical bypass.
Dark Mage of Elderoth identity.
They made the abominable mistake of devoting themselves to the impure magic of a very powerful archdemon. Under the influence of this archdemon, as well as very powerful drugs, they existed only to serve him, until they were reduced to mere shadows of themselves. Today, they are nothing but tools of evil, without a will of their own, and they will never cease to hunt the followers of Innos. We must be careful. They still seem to shun these hallowed halls of Innos. However, if their power continues to grow, I don't know if we'll still be safe here.
Thanks, that was very enlightening.
Indeed. That only raises more questions for me. For example, who were they before? And which archdemon made them what they are now?
I've got a notion. This all sounds like the Brotherhood of the Sleeper. I know those guys.
I hope you know what you're getting involved in. Take care of yourself, my brother.
You used to be a follower of the Sleeper.
That is the distant past. The Master has opened our eyes. No one can stop us now. The Master has shown us the only possible way to deal with you unbelievers.
Since we know that the Seekers in Gothic 2 once belonged to the Brotherhood of the Sleeper, he might as well be a more or less prominent figure of the sect. Maybe he was Baal Tyon or Baal Kadar, who knows? Well, I really tried to find out more about this and took a deep look at all the members in the sect camp. The Baal's face shapes, tattoos and textures are too different, and the same applies to the novices. The Templars, however, are strong contenders for the role of this mysterious Dark Mage. In the Swamp Camp, we can eventually find some random Templars whose faces are very similar, but they are missing an additional tattoo on the left side of their face. When I spawned them all, I quickly ruled out most of them, but then I made a fascinating discovery, or so I thought. It was when I spawned Gor Boba that his face and his tattoos were just way too similar to that of the mage. I was so happy that I finally lifted this mystery until I took a closer look at all the members of the Brotherhood inside the Temple of the Sleeper. So, it seems that all apocalyptic Templars share the same face, including Gor Boba, and that face is also used for the Black Mage on Elderoth. I think it is safe to assume that one of those escaped the cursed underground and somehow ended up as the master of the Seekers.
Diego and Bullet were working together. This one is weird. You know, the good cop and bad cop game? One throws a punch at you, leaving you in the mud, the other one rescues you. But how would that benefit the old camp to recruit new people? I just cannot see. Wouldn't it be more wise to just be friendly to newcomers instead of hitting them?
Mithril. This refers to the item code for Urzeal, which is called Mithrilklinge or Mithril Blade. Mithril is a steel in fantasy universes that originated, like so many other things, from the Lord of the Rings.
Dwarfs. Dwarfs are part of small Easter eggs in Gothic 2 and Gothic 3, namely the mighty alien dwarf who wrote the message behind the orc wall and above Zubin's palace, yet Mike stated specifically that devs did not want any dwarfs in their game, therefore they are not canon.
Christmas Edition. This is the first demo of Gothic 1 released in January of 2001, a very rare version of the game that apparently only a handful of people got hold of. There is a post on World of Gothic that has some information on it. Thanks to Alpha Researcher, we have some footage to look at. Check out his channel, he's got a lot of interesting stuff about Gothic's early versions. Funnily enough, you can see that the mushrooms have their proper name in German, Höhlenpilze, instead of Höllenpilze. Unfortunately, a mistake happened and somebody misread it, so cave mushrooms became hell mushrooms.
Xardus' Death. This is the title of a piece of music written by Kai Rosenkrantz, and it is part of the unused beta soundtrack. However, it was never intended that Xardus would eventually die. This got confirmed by Mike Hoge in an interview. Here is a little sample from the track.
OM Full. This is referring to the collapsed old mine after it got flooded. The developers thought about that one could go back into the cave systems now filled with water, but this got eventually cut from the game, as we know. The diggers and gods who survived inside the mine would have been driven mad, which might have been caused by the Sleeper's influence.
Iberian surviving. The leader of the Brotherhood was meant to survive the invocation of the Sleeper. However, not much is known about his fate and future role in the conflicts under the barrier. The potion that was mentioned in the last entry of the iceberg might have something to do with it. Also, in early concepts, Iberian was meant to be assassinated by a shadow of the old camp because the invocation caused an earthquake, which in turn caused the collapse of the old mine.
Undead Dragon and Valley of Mines, Stonehenge. So, originally the Undead Dragon was planned to be below the Stonehenge in Gothic 2. This place is where Angar lost his amulet and we help him clearing out all the undead residing below the surface. There was a cut diary entry that said, "I found Angar in the Valley of Mines. He suspects that an undead dragon resides under the Stonehenge, sending out his undead minions."
Finster is the name of a demo made by a small dev team, mad scientists, in '96. They also developed the Z engine, which was later used for Gothic. This demo eventually led to development of Gothic as we know it, and was also sent to Greenwood Entertainment as a pitch. Finster can be understood as a proto-Gothic demo.
8 endings in Gothic 1. Well, I'm very sorry once more. I searched the Phoenix and even the Orpheus documents, but couldn't find anything. I asked around, but nobody had a clue. Maybe this was once stated in an interview, but I am not sure. Seems like someone tried to pull a Todd Howard.
Being that we are Bethesda, everything gets a bit big, so as of last week, we're over 200 endings.
Well, even though I couldn't find anything about different endings for Gothic 1, there were actually plans to have different outcomes in the cancelled Gothic sequel.
Jark and Dark Canyons are from another game. After Gothic 1, a part of the Piranha Bytes team worked on a sci-fi shooter called Unplugged. A massive EMP attack by aliens renders the technology of the humans useless and creates a type of post-apocalypse. Some assets were reused, including the Canyon of Jarkandar. It seems that this idea later developed into ELEX, at least it served as some type of inspiration, but that could just be Alex reading too much into it.
At last, a little bonus that is not on the iceberg, but is really interesting. Thanks to Bosvark, who contacted me to tell me about this little gem. Alpha Pack Member Feature. If you use the transformation scroll Wolf or Warg and kill a member of a Wolf or Warg pack, you become their alpha. The rest of the pack will follow you around and attack whatever you intend to kill. I never knew about this feature, and it amazes me that even after all those years you can find out something new. And that's it. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I think people can just watch this on their lunch break.
Well, it was definitely pleasant. Such a short episode. Well, thanks for joining in once more, Slivers.
Hey, as long as our community grows, I'm always game.
So, I hope you guys had some fun nevertheless. This was the penultimate episode, and soon we will have the whole iceberg uncovered. Until then, have fun, leave a comment and subscribe, and we wish you a good one. Goodbye!